What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News. I will let the chat load, everyone. You know, it's midnight here. Well, it's almost midnight. Let YouTube send out some notifications. We got one on the chat. Counterpunch to you. Hit that like button. We got 3 on the chat. What is going on, Counterpunch community? My Counterpunch squad. Let's hit that like button. We got 2 and 2. That's what we need. 2 people on the chat. 2 likes. You know, been having a pretty laid back day today. You know, we're reflecting on an awesome weekend of boxing. So it's, you know, this is pretty much the aftermath. How was everybody doing today? Let's hit that like button. Let's talk about some boxing. Let's talk about some possible boxing. The heavyweight division is now pretty much open, okay? It's open like a colon's supposed to. It's a passageway for many opportunities to see good fights, okay? That's the good thing about the heavyweight division. And you know the funny thing about me and boxing, I love boxing overall. It ain't just that. Tyann Trotter, Counterpunch to you. Thank you. I remember, especially let's go back to the last 15 years. All right. I'm new to your channel. Love the content. Tahir Khan, appreciate you. Thank you very much. Welcome to the channel. You know, more fresh content daily, hourly, damn near. You know, Goat Wentz is getting hit in the head and not recovering, considered having a weak chin. Well, your punch resistance is low. I think it's best to say where your punch resistance is, but understand the more you get hit, the less your punch resistance is. G1 West, all right. Our kid or some shit. Mr. Talk Man to you. Kurt, I've been watching your channel all day. Why would I miss my favorite online personality? Thank you very much. Appreciate you. But Goat Wentz. And like everybody, especially older fighters or people that's been in wars, it's like any other contact sport. Like, let's just say, take for example, football. Most guys that's played 5 to 10 years, a 10-year player that's been through the ringer, in the trenches, you know, taking hard shots again after again, year after year, season after season. They're not going to be as fresh as the person that they just came in because they're ready for whatever. It's the same thing with boxing. If you are in wars, you're not the same. You're not the same. So when we see a boxing match and we're ooh and ah and all this stuff, and we're seeing all these punches, the sweat fly off a person's face when they get punched, that takes something out of a person. That's damage, cerebral damage. All these nerves, you have pressure points. These are pressure points, right? These are pressure points. This is a pressure point. You have pressure points all over your chin. You get hit with the right type of pressure, you're going down. I don't give a shit who you are. That's why defense is important. You know, a lot of people rubberneck certain shots. You know what I mean? But if you're getting hit with powerful flush punches, especially with someone with power, and that's how people end up dead. You know, too much punishment, you know, at one time. And even if it's spread out, you know, like think of a concussion. Well, if you get hit, like I had a concussion on my birthday. I caught a concussion a couple weeks ago now. And I didn't know I had a concussion. Okay. I was at a friend's house, and the fucking idiots had like a fan that was low, and then the blades like drooped down, and it was spinning at fast speed, and I forgot it was there, and I leaned in, and it caught me. Well, it caught me here, like I didn't know I was concussed until later, because like a few days later, I found myself kind of all out of it. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was like somewhere right here, somewhere. But but it was a knot there. How do you rate Hearn as a promoter compared to U.S. promoters? It's a good question. I mean, see, understand, Eddie Hearn, just because he's British, doesn't mean he's not an American promoter. He's both. He's a dual promoter. He's a world promoter. So it's kind of hard. He's one of the top. So let's look at it like this. You have like Al Heyman, then you have Bob Arum, then you have Eddie Hearn. Everyone else, let's look at it. You have the lower tier guys like Lou DiBella. Um, then you have managers, of course, like David Hay and things of that nature. But who else? Like Dean White, Dillian's brother, he's coming up in the rankings as far as promotional, but they're small. Like Spencer Farron's a promoter. But they're smaller promoters because they don't have the big tier talent, okay, that generate a lot of money, because the bigger your talent is, the more your increase is, because they make more money or whatnot. So Eddie Hearn has Canelo over here in the U.S., and he had in Mexico, of course. Then he has the U.K. like with the Dillian Whites and the Anthony Joshua. So yeah, I mean he's one of the biggest ones. How do I rank him? I mean he's a good promoter as far as I'm concerned. But being a promoter, especially a promoter that's big as he is, you can't please everybody. So you have to remember that. The only person to get the real truth. Frank Ash Yayo. Appreciate you, brother. Shavers versus Foreman remark got me thinking early. I'm only 50, but seeing Ali lose to Holmes. Well, it's crazy. Okay. Frank, 50 is really not old. It's just you're 50 years old. Think of a fight 50 years ago. See, 50 years ago is like 1971. Okay. Well, if you were 50, if you're turning 51, either or, you weren't around when Ali came back to fight Frazier in 1971 in Madison Square Garden. So it's like, you know, if you're looking at it like that, like historical dates of fights, that doesn't seem that long ago, but it's something that already happened in history. So you're accustomed to knowing what things are based on when you were alive to see them. So in that case, if you were born in 71 to 81, so you're around 10 years old when you seen like Hagler and Hearns and those things. And of course, when Ali fought Holmes, that was sad because Ali was like a shell of himself by that time. So, but the perception is a mother, like the 90s, I think about the 90s. I'm a kid, like I'm like a teenager through young adulthood. So I was like 98, I'm like 18 or yeah, 18, turning 19. Those years. So it's like, okay, that didn't seem that long ago, but like that was over 20 years ago. So you're like, oh shit, So now you're looking at it like, damn, you know, compared to someone that's only 20, that was born in like 2001 or 2000, right? I'm glad that Wilder wants to fight Joshua. I hope it happens because honestly, I know I'm in the minority on this one, but I'd like to see Wilder get a fourth fight with Fury. Well, I mean, after what we saw, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? Only one condition, though. Mr. Talk, that shit can't be this year or next year. It'd have to be like 2023. Like fall of 2023, sure. You know what I mean? About 2 years from now. I would like to see a fight, but that's based on Wilder's progress as a fighter. Now, if he pulls some Michael Grant shit and he goes in there and gets smoked by somebody like White or somebody like that, okay, well, they'll prolong that type of opportunity for Wilder. But if Wilder beats him, then he knocks out a Charles Martin and he knocks out a Joseph Parker, which I think that would be a good fight for Wilder because Joseph Parker is part of Team Fury. You beat everybody around Team Fury. You don't have to get the fox. All you need to do is get all the chickens, and then the fox will come. If that makes sense. I'm newish to your channel, like your analysis and humor. Your pronunciation is good when you throw out Spanish. What's your background? Francisco, Cuban background. Cuban, Irish, African American, not in that order. All of it in a big pot and you stir it up, you drink it. That's Kurt DeVille. Goat Wentz. Do you like how people say AJ has no chin? He may not have the best, but he can take a punch. Goat. Again, punch resistance, and that's different from not anticipating a punch. And you have to factor this in. Usyk hits you with shots you don't fucking see coming. Okay, you got a 220-pound guy hitting you with a shot that you never thought that was you're going to get hit with. So when he got wrapped by Usyk's punch, yeah, he went back because it's supposed to knock you off your setting. You're supposed to reset with your legs. Why? Because he's hit you with a hard shot where Usyk punched through Joshua. Usyk caught him with a punch that, boom! You know what I mean? His forearm ended at his chin. That's how far that punch went in. Bars. But seriously, he hit Joshua with a shot. It was like, oh, fuck. His neck went over like a damn palm tree in the wind. You know what I mean? Ugh! And then it was so subtle because it was like, dude, I didn't know this was going to get hit, but he needed to move his head. And that made him cautious. It made him real cautious. But then you're dealing with a guy that's with that type of movement, and then he knows what he's doing. He's not just moving for his health. He's anticipating each and every possible punch that Joshua can throw. So when Joshua was doing this here, Usyk was, you know what I mean? Because he had the rhythm down based on what Joshua thought he was going to do. Because Joshua was trying to get that shot. Is this going to land? Is this going to land? Is this going to land? Bah! Fuck! Okay. Is this going to land? Is this, boom, to the stomach, bop, upstairs. Is this going to land? It was a hard night for Joshua. Because he was trying to figure Usyk out. And he was trying to fight Usyk like he was playing a game of chess. This ain't fucking chess. Okay? He should have went at Usyk and bullied his ass around. Something like White would have done. White would have made it a brawl. He would have done something like more of a controlled Derek Chisora style assault or attack. Okay? Don't like how people... Okay, I got that one. And then Burbick. My dad had to educate me. This guy was no loser, just past his prime. A lot of people are past the time. And if you look at it, think about the reality of certain fighters and when they get their opportunities. You know what I'm saying? Past his time, past his prime, those type of guys, it's sad because boxing is so shitty. By the time a person that has been qualified for a particular opportunity, he hadn't got it until a certain time frame. Unfortunately, a lot of these guys, when they get their opportunity, they're no longer like they were. They're no longer fresh. They're no longer, agile like they were. They're not in the best version of themselves. They're not. They might have all the experience, but then again, it's like, okay, how much experience do you have at a championship level when you never had the opportunity to fight for a crown or for a championship? And then you're past your prime. 3 years ago, you should have been where you are right now. But it just shows you that you have to be prepared in boxing for certain things. But what's hurting boxing is because of that fact. People don't want to risk fighting other fighters when they know they could lose their opportunity or their place in line for fighting for the championship, the fighting for the belt. So a lot of people won't like, fuck that. I'm not fighting that dude because I'm going to wait for this dude based on my management, based on my rankings in this particular sanctioning body. So that I'm going to stay where I'm at. I'm going to take this stay busy fight. But then you're fighting a guy and that guy don't prepare you for the championship. You may get it a year and a half, but guess what? You're already 34, 35. By that time, you're 36, damn near 37. So when you're 37 years old, you're finally fighting for something that you've been waiting 3 or 4 years for. See what I mean? So it's bad. It's bad. So I'm going to give you a perfect example, people. Luis Ortiz. Luis Ortiz, he was 30. In 2008, he's 42. He was 39 years old. Or 38, about to be 39 because his birthday was in March. He fought Wilder in March. So when he got his opportunity to fight Wilder, this motherfucker was damn near 40. Whereas had he fought him when he was 36 or whatever his age was, if he fought him 3 years earlier, he would have destroyed Wilder. He would have been more agile. He would have been stronger, more testosterone. And a lot of those fighters, if you think about it, he was doping too, right? He was taking peds. Why do you think a motherfucker like that was taking peds? He was taking peds because his ass was old and he needed something to balance out the oldness. So he needed a pick-me-up. See what I mean? He needed a damn pick-me-up because he knew he was old. David Price just retired. Yeah, he's a big guy. And I think a guy like David Price, a lot of these guys, David Price is a hard hitting guy. You know, he knocked out Anthony Joshua at one point. You know, that was the word around the campfire, David Price. But here's the thing. A lot of people come with kinks in their armor. Now, he might not have had a chin compared to his punching power. So this is what happens. A lot of people, right? A lot of people, they see a guy like David Price, big, strong, powerful guy. If he catches you with a left hook, he can knock your ass into another dimension. However, if you catch him, you could also knock him out. But people get so accustomed of him showing his strengths that when you see his weakness, that's the only thing you really harp on or you only focus on. Oh, he ain't got no chin. He's chinny. Well, he has his own faults or his own flaws. But it just totally kind of erases away everything about the man. His full makeup is, yes, he's stronger than his punching power is stronger than his durability. Okay, that's what that means. That's all that means. So some guys can take a punch, but don't let them hit you. Like people talk about Wilder. Yeah, Wilder was getting dazed off a fucking jab. Boom! Oh. You know what I mean? His punching power is greater than his durability or his punch resistance. I played football ever since I was a little kid. I remember when there were no concussion protocol. We just got our bell rung, then got back in the caveman style. Yeah, that's not the way it is now. Especially when they know what to look for. So a lot of things were wrong with people they didn't really know because they didn't get diagnosed yet because there was no diagnosis. So it's just some shit. You're all right. I'm a little dizzy. You're fine. I think Joshua stops Usyk in the rematch. Well, if he does, it will pretty much save his career and his journey to undisputed, which a lot of people, promotional wise, will be happy about that. Why? Because Joshua brings the money. Why do you think Canelo never fought a guy like Lara again? Because if Lara beat Canelo and they had that fight in Miami, it would fuck the money up. Like there's no money in Lara. He's just a good slick ass southpaw from Cuba. But Canelo, plenty. Plenty. Thoughts on Usyk versus Wilder, who wins? Blaine Walker. Usyk outboxes Deontay Wilder just like anybody does. If Deontay Wilder hits Usyk with the right hand, that will tell the story of the fight. You know what I mean? Like, at what point will Wilder connect? So the fight will be intriguing as long as it lasts, but it may last 12 rounds. The best thing to bet on for a fight like that is Usyk beating Wilder every round. But Wilder would have to knock him out like he does everyone else. Now, can he do that? Well, he has the knockout ability. But based on the Wilder we saw Saturday, he comes in 238 pounds compared to a guy that's 220 pounds like Usyk. He will get ate alive. He won't be fast enough. He won't be quick enough. And he will get tired. And Usyk is a guy that with all that damn movement, he will tire Wilder out. So if he stops Wilder, Wilder will be more fatigued by round 7 or 8, getting caught with shots that he don't supposed to get caught with. He'll start swelling. That'll be another problem. But he won't stop. That's the beauty of Wilder. He won't stop. Right? So he will fight. The only problem is by round 9, he'll be completely exhausted. Then we'll see a fatigued person that's trying like a mother sucker. You know? Then, though, if he has enough punching power, because maybe Usyk might get to the point where he starts taking risk. Because one thing about Usyk will start throwing punches when he either has you hurt or he knows that you're about to go. Okay, he will throw some punches. Like, look at the 12th round with Josh. He was throwing punches. But that's when you have to attack Usyk, when he opens up. But see, the bad thing about Usyk, though, he'll throw combinations at your ass. He'll throw them at you, but he's still on that defense game. Okay, he ain't like most of these guys just, oh, he's hurt, let me get him. And they got their fucking chin straight up throwing punches at you. And then all you got to do is actually throw back. Oh, and then out you go. Usyk ain't that type of person. That's what makes him so dangerous, because he's forever focused on what he's doing. He's always anticipating you to throw back. That's why Loma's so bad. Loma is always looking for the counter, always setting a trap. Even though they're attacking you, they're still setting a trap and attacking you at the same damn time. That's scary. But if Wilder can catch Usyk early, that would be his best shot. Let me catch his ass with the right hand and end him. But see, one thing we notice about Wilder, he's not a finisher. He's just a good puncher. So if he knew how to put punches together, he would be very dangerous, but he's not that dude. He's that dude, if he can get you with one shot, he could drop you with one shot. But is he a good finisher? No, he is not. See, if he hits you with that shot and you fall, the objective is then, let me try to hit you with that shot again. So he's going to step, throw the right hand, and try to hit you with the shot that he hit you with to hurt you the first time. If he can't do that, you can bounce back. That's how Tyson Fury got him. Okay, if you notice, like he'll start to behind the head shit, because if you get too close to him, because you try to smother him or hold, he's just going to whack you behind the head. And that's a bad thing about refs, though. Refs need to understand, just because a fighter's hurt and the other guy has the up and up on him, doesn't mean that gives an open door for that guy to foul the hurt fighter. And a lot of refs let that happen because I think they get caught in the moment. They're like, oh shit, he is hurt. But then you're witnessing fouls at the same time. At that point, yes, it stops momentum, but you can't allow at any time in a fight for a fighter to foul the other fighter. Okay? So I think people should watch that. Do you really think it was Wilder's equilibrium that was off when he got hit in the 3rd round of the 2nd and 3rd fight, that his legs were looking instead of the extra weight? It was a combination of both. Why couldn't it be both? What Wilder was imagining in his head, the spiked water, the trainer, the ref, Tyson Fury's gloves, what that really was, extra weight, then extra weight on top of a person that's not conditioned to carry that weight, on top of trying to fight with that extra weight on you. Then you get caught with a fucking ear punch that throws your equilibrium off, because that's what happens. If you anybody that had an ear infection knows it messes up your equilibrium. Anybody that had an ear infection knows if something's wrong with your ears and you have to go to a ear and throat doctor or a nose doctor, and then they're gonna take that shit out. Then you're gonna feel a lot better, because if you have an infection or whatever, it's gonna mess with your equilibrium. That's what happened to Wilder. And he got caught again. That's what happened to Wilder. Not saying, see, Fury knew where to hit Wilder. Remember the first fight, he was going straight up the middle, wouldn't he not? Fury would feint, left, right, or left, right. And he'd go right between the guards, and Wilder would take it, and it was cool. He ate it, but he went around, caught him right here, in the ear. Bars. He knew. Well, I got him. He knew from the second one, I'm going to hit his ass in that same place. I'm going to bust his fucking eardrum open again, just like I did his trainers, just like I did him the first time we fought, or the first in the rematch, right? Hamza Habib, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. 50-50 fight between those two. If Usyk avoids the right, Usyk. If Wilder connects, Wilder. Yeah. But I think Wilder would have to do it early, because I'm not convinced and I'm not sold on this idea of all this extra weight. If he comes in heavier, fighting someone like Usyk, that's stupid. Because Usyk's going to box circles around him. And then he's going to hit him with punches that a little guy like that ain't supposed to hurt a big guy like Wilder. And that's when it's going to become a problem. Let me ask you guys a question. Do you guys think what Fury's punching power is really that hard? Just a question. How hard do you think he punches compared to other fighters like Joshua and White and Ruiz? Kurt, why if Fury got knocked down at 16 seconds on the clock, but he got up, it was 6 seconds left on the clock. So how is that a 15 count? These people are trying to make no sense. Because they don't know the difference, Eric 1984. They don't know the difference between a 10 count and 10 second, in just 10 seconds. See what they're trying to do? They're trying to justify the amount of seconds compared to a human person's count. And they don't understand the protocol either. But don't worry. I mean, people shall be educated. And I'm glad stuff like this happens. When a referee counts, he looks at the timekeeper. The timekeeper has where it's supposed to be. At that point, he picks up, if it's at 5 or 6 or whatever, the referee picks it up at that point. Then he counts. But he's supposed to slow down, and he's supposed to speak loud enough so for the guy to hear him speaking, because then he wants to communicate to the fighter, and the fighter has to be cognitive to know where the fuck he's at. 6! And he has to want to know if there's an urgency from the fighter also. Because, see, the fighter is showing and demonstrating to the ref that, hey, I'm able to get up from this punch. I'm able to keep going forward. That's why he tells him to move his gloves up. The referee is watching his eyes. He's watching his legs. He's watching his feet. Are they stable? They're watching all that. That's why they tell him, walk to me, walk to me. And then they walk forward, right? That's why they do that. They put their hands up. They show, hey, I'm ready. I'm ready to defend myself if this motherfucker comes at me and tries to knock my head off again. That's all that is. Now, if it's 10 seconds, don't matter. Okay? It's how that guy counts. Some people count faster. This guy more counts slower. On top of the fact, he counted the same speed for Wilder as he did Fury. The only difference is Wilder didn't do his fucking job by going to the neutral corner, any neutral corner. That's it. No, there's nothing else to really discuss. Wilder is an easy fight for Usyk. He'll KO him quicker than Fury. You know what? If Usyk beats Wilder faster, people will then respect Usyk like they did Holyfield. And it will be a situation where Holyfield fought Tyson. You guys remember that? And he beat Tyson. He stopped him in the 11th round. Second fight was, of course, a disqualification, but that's exactly when Holyfield got his props. Not from Michael Moore, not from George Foreman because he was too old considered at the time. Not from the Riddick Bows were classics, but then he still didn't get his pound of flesh. He didn't get his pound of flesh until he beat the baddest man on the planet, Mike Tyson. Wilder gave Malik Scott a KO, but Scott wanted to give him a boxing knowledge. He did not give him a KO. He didn't hit him. We know Wilder doesn't have shit in that left hook, and that's the only punch he hit him with. He didn't the right hand didn't even land. He went with it. He didn't want to hurt his friend. He wanted to get his friend a check without punishing or inflicting damage on his friend. That's what he did. He knew Malik Scott. They jailed. Something about him. They were friends. They became friends. You know what I mean? He didn't want to hurt that guy. And see, Malik Scott, I think, was in a verge of becoming behind the scenes instead of taking these fights because he was more like a experienced journeyman. And you can learn a lot from a journeyman, okay? Because they've been through numerous of fights, win, lose, or draw. They have the experience, you know, the ring IQ versus if you are a person that made a lot of mistakes in your life, why do you think a person that made a lot of mistakes in their life can tell other people, like a circle or a seminar of people, what and what not to do because that person's done it, right? So if that's the case, a person like Malik Scott, he can show you, no, don't do this. We need to work on that because I got hit with that before and it ain't pretty. And you don't want to get, someone's trying to tell you how to defend or what not to do because they've been through it all. Malik Scott is one of those people. Just look at his record, how it reflects. And a lot of people say, well, why? How is he going to teach somebody something? Okay, what's Freddie Roach's record? Let's do this. Let's do this, right? Let's look up Freddie Roach. And Freddie Roach ain't even known to be a fighter, is he? Let's look him up. Freddie Roach, American professional boxer. Okay, that's what he was before. Let's look at his box rec. You got to go down a minute. Let's just look up box rec. Okay. Because he's been a trainer so long, right? So, box rec. Freddie Roach. Look. This is Freddie Roach's record. 40 wins. 13 losses, 15 KOs. Out of the 13 losses, he got knocked out 3 times. Okay? That's Freddie Roach, the renowned trainer of Wild Card Gym in Hollywood. That's Freddie Roach, people. So you can't tell me, oh, Malik Scott has no business becoming or trying to train anyone somewhere that he never been. Well, look at this. Look. Boom. Right? I rest my case. And we have a super chat. Let's see what's going on with the super chat. DJ Duncans, what's up, brother? Private Eye, Counterpunch. Send the YB to Mars, kid. Okay. Tahir Khan. AJ needs a better trainer. The late, great Emmanuel Stewart would have been perfect for him. Look, he needs someone. I think Joshua needs someone like Teddy Atlas. Why? Teddy Atlas won't he won't bullshit him. You know? I think he'll give him a sense of urgency and a sense of sternness. See, Teddy Atlas is passionate, he's aggressive, but he's stern. Andy C, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Kurt, your perspective is expertly considered and thoughtful. You need to be on TV as an analyst. Seriously, you'd shame on some jokers that they're talking about bouts. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Was it stopped for medical reasons? I don't think. Okay, now, and look, the reason why I asked you guys about Tyson Fury, right? Because Tyson Fury, Harry Greb's resume up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll look it up here in a second, private eye. But you looking at a guy like Tyson Fury, he hit Wilder a lot. Now, before people say Wilder doesn't have a chin, he got hit a lot. Understand, he got hit a lot by Tyson Fury, and he got up. Well, does that prove Tyson Fury has one punch knockout power? No. But does that prove that Wilder has one punch knockout power? You can say, now you could credit, oh, Fury has a chin or whatever. But then it's like, all right, well, if he has a chin, he got caught with a shot. He did. He got caught with a couple shots. But one crucial shot in the fourth round, as the result of that, he went down. He didn't go down from the shot necessarily. That shot hurt him. Like that same shot hurt Ortiz in the fifth round of their first fight. Just like it dropped Ortiz in the seventh. He just didn't beat the count. Okay, but was he laid out on the floor, knocked out like a lot of those guys, like a Spilka or any of those other cats that he fought? No. Kurt, do you think there's going to be a unification fight with Emmanuel Navarrete with either Stephen Fulton or Junior Brandon? Brandon, I think, didn't he catch COVID? Malik Scott, like in a lot of other sports, guys who were average and below players are often the best managers and coaches. Francisco, that's right. That's all I was trying to say. Kurt, please counterpunch me for the Wilder channel stupidity. I mean, that's weekly, because people, they have to justify Wilder's loss. They have to. Um, they have to. I mean, it's like this. If Wilder, I don't understand though why they're so sensitive towards Wilder. You know, late night vibes. Finally, them late night talks is back. Kurt DeVille, the goat of all goats, greatest of all time. Capital two times. Bars. The forehead shot probably broke Wilder's hand. Maybe so. Because Wilder don't give a shit where it lands. He's just throwing it. That's one thing about Wilder. I'm going to punch you. I don't give a shit if I break every bone in my hand. I'm going to throw that punch. Julie, have a lot of respect for Malik. You should, man. Malik, look, I think Malik is the best thing that happened to Wilder as far as someone that outwardly respects other fighters. Because he's been in there with them. He sparred with them. He knows. He's not a dickhead. You know what I mean? Yeah, he's like a flamboyant guy with his own style, but who gives a fuck? That's him and his business. He's chick with her titties all out. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's freaky. But like, as far as boxing brain wise, you could tell he puts a lot of passion and work behind what he does. You know what I mean? And you can do that without being disrespectful, without being an asshole. You know what I mean? Just like when AJ got beat. Well, that hating get path or gateway or opportunity was shut down because he didn't want to hear it. Like, dude, don't come to me about fucking Anthony Joshua. AJ and Wilder have been so embarrassing. Javier Torre, let me tell you something. This is boxing. That's exactly why, Javier, you should be a fan of boxing, because boxing changes. The more these guys fight, the more you're going to see what they can do and what they can't do. And that's with anybody. See, for the longest time, the perception of these guys have been up in the top. The more they fight people, the more you're going to see flaws. Joshua, especially because you could see Joshua's fighting guy after guy after guy, the Ruizes, then the Pulevs, then the Usyks. You know what I mean? Then you'll see what he can do and what he can't do with these fighters. We found out what he can't do. A slick southpaw, he can get him. Okay. You know what I mean? He'll have problems. That's where the challenge, that's where the resistance is. Right? Okay. Cool. But Wilder, we learned he can't beat Tyson Fury. He just can't beat Tyson Fury. You know, can he ever beat Tyson Fury? Probably if he fought him more in shape, but as of right now, he can't beat Fury, man. He just can't beat Fury, but can he beat White? Can he beat Ruiz? Shit, can Ruiz beat Fury? Can White beat Fury? See, these guys have been fighting each other so long. Those motherfuckers were in jail with each other for a long time. The only person that got an opportunity that stuck out was Otto Vailene. Okay, Otto Vailene. Dominic Brazil got knocked the fuck out. So he's just a statistic at this point. He's a highlight reel. Then he gets beat by Otto Vailene, right? So it is what it is. What's your top 5 heavyweights right now? Okay, top 5 heavyweights. Usyk, Joe Joyce, Tyson Fury, not in that order, because you're asking. I'm just thinking off the top of my head. Um, who else is doing the damn thing based on who we fought? Um, I know those are the top. Those are the 3: Usyk, Joe Joyce, um, Usyk, Joe Joyce, Tyson Fury. So probably Tyson Fury, Usyk, or Usyk, Tyson Fury. Then Joe Joyce comes around. Um, then you can throw White behind that, or is it White third or whatever, and then probably Joshua maybe. Kurt, do you Kurt, do you agree with what Alexander said that the fight with Tyson and Deontay was horribly technically, but it was entertaining? Yeah, the best fights that are not the most technical are more entertaining because you see people get hit more. That's easy. Man, I remember coming up. They had Tuesday night fights on ESPN. They had Friday night fights on ESPN too. I used to love those because they were like rock'em sock'em robots. Somebody's gonna get their head knocked off eventually when someone makes a mistake, because the mistakes is what makes entertaining fights, because that's what leaves openings open for somebody to get the head knocked off, right? If you run across the street and you don't look both ways and you get clipped by a fucking car, it's the same concept. That's the same concept. You're running across the street, bow, you get hit. Same thing with boxing, right? You had no head movement, you're going to get caught with something. Why would Malik Scott not make a great trainer? He sure proved he is on Wilder's side by taking a dive for him. Hey, he did take a dive. The sport that we love, that we hate so much, Curtis' greatest line ever. Ronnie, it's true. Dubois, I don't know. I mean, Dubois really opened my eyes with how he got beat by Joyce. And then you had to look at it like, yeah, his eye was fucked up, but I mean, could he have really fought 2 more rounds? He took a D. He quit. See, Dubois quit. You know what I mean? And he showed me like, okay, like, is he more concerned with his health or is he more concerned with winning? See, he has a line that, he won't cross. He could have kept going and kind of just jabbing, getting away from that slow ass jab by Joyce. He could have done that. And he might have won, maybe. But he was like, fuck it. I'm not doing this. Kurt, remember the middleweight division in the 90s? Private Eye. Well, yeah, you had Roy Jones, you had Bernard Hopkins, you had Julian Jackson, that hard sledgehammer hitting cat. You had James Toney. You had a lot of people, man. Not was Terry Norris there? I know he was there at one point because he was at 154. Fury on pads, but he hides it well. Well, here's the thing. To say somebody's on pads and can't prove it is just speculation. I don't give that shit any. Because, see, here's the problem. There's too many people getting caught with PEDs to justify that person being busted. So you can't say they're not looking for it. And you can't say people ain't doing it. But if people are looking for it versus people doing it, doing these performance enhancing drugs, okay, well, that's the big deal. That's the purpose. Okay, you can't, until a person gets popped, don't call them a juice head. They just, and don't say, oh, he just ain't got caught. Well, you don't know that. You know what I mean? As far as we know, they take these drug tests, piss, urine, or whatever, blood, and they're clean. What fights coming are you most looking forward to? Terrence Crawford, Sean Porter, Canelo Plant. He might have killed Deontay Wilder on pads. Well, here's the thing, Mr. Talk. Fortunately, there's not been a person that has been busted using PEDs have seriously hurt anybody. That's one thing that we can say about this sport that we love, that we hate so much. That there isn't a person that put a guy in the hospital and then he tested positive for something. There hasn't been a person yet. Not saying it won't. I hope there won't. But it hasn't been a person yet that's happened to. He put somebody in a hospital. Oh, by the way, he tested positive for something. See what I mean? So it doesn't guarantee or ensure anything by taking drugs. I think these drugs are in your mind anyway. People take them just to get an edge. Kurt, do you remember watching USA's Tuesday night fights? First fight I watched on USA was a fight between Jorge Paez, versus Calvin Grove, 15 rounds for the IBF featherweight. Charles Lowe, I do. As I said earlier, Tuesday night fights was on ESPN. Friday night fights was on ESPN too. I remember Friday night fights. Used to have all these Miller High Life commercials. And I used to drink all that badass beer at the time. And I drank it because that's all I saw. Miller High Life. Kurt, do you have plans for more interviews on your channel? Yeah. No mas, no fuss. Of course. Tuesday Night Fights was on the USA Net. It was on USA, wasn't it? I thought it was on ESPN. You right, it was on USA. That's the first time I ever seen a guy, dude, he double punched a dude. Like he hit this motherfucker. I'm a Ali and Iron Mike fan, but my all-time great was Harry Crabb. Private Eye. Carlos Takam versus Andy Ruiz. How about Dillian White versus Andy Ruiz? How about Andy Ruiz versus some fucking body? And I'm getting kind of to the point where Andy, I'm losing real faith in Andy. I am. Because I'm tired of Andy not fighting anybody. I'm tired of his bullshit. Because I see right through Andy. Andy is a guy that he's seeming like a fucking has-been. That, and I hate to say it because he's an overall, I think he's a good dude and stuff. He means well. But I don't think that I think his best times are behind him. Do the rest of your live stream in the Floyd Mayweather impression. We're not going to do that. 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 Wesley, you make me laugh. I feel that Wilder will commit suicide because I don't think he will get over it. Nah, he has to. You're a good lad, Kurt. This is my new favorite channel. Private Eye. Appreciate you, man. Counterpunch to you. Fury admitted himself he struggles with cruiserweights and smaller guys. Well, if that is what he said, then you can understand why Tyson Fury probably won't fuck with somebody like Usyk. Yeah, Paez, man. Jorge Paez was a very colorful guy. Legend of all sheet. Counterpunch to you. You know who Jorge Paez really was? Jorge Paez was the Mexican version of Emmanuel Augustus. You know what I mean? Imagine that. Jorge Paez taking on Emmanuel Augustus. I think Augustus would have took him. Because Jorge Paez used to train himself out in the deserts of Mexico. A lot of people don't know that. Worst thing for Ruiz's career was that win in New York City. Yeah, it was. But it was like, you don't make that type of money. Because you think about the fights that Andy Ruiz has fought, those are like, that was his whole net profit career, and then plus another million or two. No, I'm not, Wesley. Andy Ruiz is a legit threat to the division, but I'd like to see him fight Chris Arreola again. I don't want to see that shit again. I mean, it would be good for Chris because, see, Chris is a guy that people didn't supposed to see he doesn't supposed to be where he was. He didn't supposed to do what he did. He didn't supposed to drop Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz took that fucking fight because he thought it would be easy. Come on, that was a stay busy fight, and he picked the least of the opposition. You know what Andy Ruiz did? No, he's not. Nikki Blue Eyes, baby, he is not another Buster. Buster fought motherfuckers. Andy Ruiz, he fought Parker. That don't count. You just fought Parker, then you get a jackpot with AJ. No, you're not a Buster Douglas. Buster Douglas had fought a lot of people by the time he fought Mike Tyson. Where do you think those 5 losses came from? He kicked a lot of ass too. He whooped Oliver McCall. What did Andy do? Andy lost the split decision to Joseph Parker. Sure, it was in his backyard in, I think, New Zealand, but still, he was coming off a lot. That was his biggest step up, and Bob Arum dropped him like a fat ass potato. Right? So no, I don't. No, he took that fight with Chris Arreola again, people, because Chris Arreola was the easiest route he thought. He did the same thing as Adam Kalnaki did to Robert Helenius. This is what they did. This is how people match fights, which is stupid, but they do it anyway. They base it on the analysis of who they already beat. So, Adam Kalnaki, he turned down the Joshua fight too. Idiot. He turned that down. Okay. Then Dominic Breazeale called him out. He swayed away from that. Idiot. Then he went to, hey, you know what? Let me fight Helenius because I beat Jarrell Washington, and Jarrell Washington beat Helenius already, and I've already beat Jarrell Washington. That's our fight. And what happened? He went in there and got his ass knocked out in 5 rounds by Helenius. Then he goes in there again to try to redeem himself by taking his first L, and guess what happens? He gets his fucking eye broke. Karma, baby. That's why he should have fought a guy like Dominic Breazeale. It is what it is. But that's what happens when you cherry pick. That's exactly what happens when you cherry pick. Kurt, is there any chance that you think Tyson Fury is out of his prime, or is that because of his inactivity? A little bit of both. See, when you take all those years off, he should have been fighting. Tyson Fury has what? 31 wins, 22 by knockout, one draw. He should at least have close to 40 fights. He's like 13-year pro and you have 31 fucking fights. 32 fights because of the draw. That's it. He's supposed to have had at least close to 40, 37, 38 fights. But he's taking all that damn time off. You can't get time back. So maybe, I mean, it's not out of the question. Fury in his prime, 32 years. Okay, well, hey, he's 33. So that's a year past of that time frame. Fury versus Ortiz. Well, Ortiz at this point, I would like to see it because he's more skilled than Wilder. He's more skilled than Dillian White. Shit, even though he's old, a motherfucker like Ortiz, you know what? I bet you if Ortiz would have, like, if he goes in there and let's say they set that fight, Ortiz knocks out Tyson Fury, boom, he'll be another George Foreman. And I bet you at that point, Luis Ortiz will reveal his real age. He'd probably be the oldest heavyweight champion in history by way of telling the truth. You know what I mean? He'll probably say, no, I'm 52. 52 años realmente. He says he's 52 years old and he's knocking out these young guys. No quiero ponerla con antes de Joshua, Dillian White. Tú eres próxima. Tú dejo. He says he wants Dillian White next. He's a dumbass. A todo cubo la serie. Gracias a todo. He said George Foreman. Yeah, he'll be another George Foreman. George Foreman was almost 46 years old when he knocked out Michael Moore. He's on record being the oldest heavyweight champion ever. Mike Tyson being the youngest ever. Luis Ortiz babysat Bob Arum. No, he didn't. He went to school with him. Andy is the new definition of a one-hit wonder, so aside, Buster Douglas. Yeah. Andy, man, Andy knows. Andy knows. Like, he ain't gonna get that shit again. And you know what? When see Joshua being beat, probably put a lot of people kind of in depressed, put the whole fucking heavyweight division in a succession. You guys ever thought of that? What do you think now? Shelly Finkel we could still fight Anthony Joshua. That fights are still going to be a big hit. Because they want to get that money in case Joshua gets his ass handed to him again. Okay? Tyson is 6'9", Ali. Frank Sanchez. There you go. Another Frank. There you go. Versus Usyk would be fun to watch. Yeah, that would be fun because, see, Frank has speed. You know what I mean? Just like I enjoyed the fight with Usyk versus Michael Hunter. And that was at cruiserweight. Age is no barrier, Kurt. If Foreman can do it, Ortiz can too. Tui. You're absolutely right. Counterpunch to you. I'm with that. Especially in the heavyweight division. Shit, it takes 1 or 2 punches. You got to be a little crazy to be a genius. Fury qualifies with no doubt. Yeah, Fury, he's a trip. For everybody that thinks Alexander would destroy Fury, get ready to eat your words if that happens because you think he leaned on Wilder. He's going to put that weight on Alexander and he's going. No, I don't think so. Because, see, those Ukrainian fighters, if you watch them, Mr. Talk man to you, just go back and watch a Usyk fight. He doesn't allow that type of shit. Fury will probably attempt to grab him, but that would only because Usyk hit him with something that he didn't like. And Usyk will be farther enough away from him to avoid those type of altercations. Okay. See, Usyk won't be in front of Tyson Fury for one to hit him. He'll be maneuvering to his right side and then coming back to the left to set up a trap to move back to the right. Look, leaning on someone like Otto Vailene, someone that's pressing forward, fighting someone like Deontay Wilder, someone that has to come forward to generate his power, those guys are the main victims of somebody being grabbing, or holding, or leaning on, or headlocks because they're both coming forward. Otto Vailene was a guy that had to press forward with his combinations, right? Right. And then for that matter, Tyson Fury knows he's coming forward. Grab this motherfucker. Lean on this motherfucker. Take juice out of the back. Pretty soon that's going to affect the hips to the knees down to the legs, you know? And they're going to be doing like Wilder was, taking a damn knee because he doesn't like that weight on his back. Okay? Nifemi Fadugba. What does AJ need to do to win the rematch? Knock out Usyk? You know, don't let Usyk get off and land unanswered punches. You know what I mean? You have to answer shots back of, especially the way Usyk hit him with clean left hands. He can't let that happen. John, AJ can't beat Usyk. Well, they said the same thing about Ruiz too. I want the heavyweight belt unified. You think Usyk can get a KO though? Yeah, I do. Here's the thing about Joshua. Now Joshua's going to work on his stamina because he knows he has to be prepared. Like I thought his ass was this time. See, he talked a good game. Like, hey, I'm ready. I could do 15 rounds. Motherfucker, you better be ready to throw punches round after round for 12. Now, if he can do that, if he can fight Alexander Usyk like Orlando Salido fought Vasil Lomachenko, he has a shot. Roughing his ass up, going to the body, throwing punches and bunches, getting the crowd behind him because you know that shit's gonna be back in the UK, probably at Wembley bars. I'm rooting for AJ. I want him to do it. I just don't think he will. DJ Duncan James. I mean, what faith did AJ give us? You know, AJ made the redemption list with everyone else that's there. Ruiz, Deontay Wilder, Gennady Golovkin. It's a lot of people on there. Michael Coffey, Jarrell Miller. All those guys are on the redemption list. AJ has made that list. AJ needs Crunk style. He needs something. He needs to get crunk. AJ needs to get mad. He's too fucking happy and he's too rich. AJ got too much money. You know, I was telling Bruce Vane that today. You know, and I was telling Bruce, like, yo, he needs to get fucking mad. AJ needs better footwork. Well, he needs a lot of stuff. He needs to throw punches. AJ really looks weak in the ring. Well, he looked like he didn't know what the hell he was doing. He didn't know what he was dealing with. So hopefully he's learned something. AJ has some serious stamina issues. Exactly. He made a lot of money. But man, AJ probably tired of getting paid. Think about it like this. $75 million he was going to make to fight Fury. Well, how does that fucking motivate you besides being undisputed when you've already made 85 for being a challenger in Saudi Arabia? Think about that shit. Think about that for a minute. Y'all trying to get out of bed when you got 100 million in your bank. Yeah, it's like, you get up, eat some fruit, give me a salmon steak or salmon steak, how you guys called it. All right. Usyk is the real deal. You better be ready, fight. Yeah? He's nobody to fuck with. I just want to see Usyk what he does with other fighters. But thanks for being on here, Kurt. Good for us crazy folks to listen to. Wesley Gamble, appreciate you for listening to me. Daryl Alexander, even if he loses the rematch, people will still want him to fight Wilder. And that's still a big money fight. Joshua will be all right. Yeah, he'll be all right. 3 losses. Shit, Mike Tyson had 5. Lennox Lewis had 2. All right. Sandwich. I'm so disappointed in AJ. Javier Torre. But put it like this. Be more proud of Usyk. Usyk went to Anthony Joshua's home country in his backyard and beat his ass round after round. And then got the decision. Kurt to replace Andre Ward. Yeah, it's kind of, I like both him and Timothy Bradley, so I wouldn't want to replace anybody. But then again, you have to have a balance. So you have to have, like, I guess, a female there. So you have to replace somebody. But I like them both. You know, Usyk was he just put on a boxing display on how you're supposed to do it. You know what I'm saying? So it's not about dissing AJ. It's about praising Usyk. Usyk did his shit. Thought you was talking low, Kurt. It's my volume that was down. It happens. Turn my headphones up. Jimmy Boo, you know why AJ acted surprised when Usyk won? Because he thought he was going to get that decision in his hometown. Then he thought about it, like, you know. But, you know, a lot of people said he took that loss, like, too graciously. He got the fuck out the ring. You noticed that, right? I mean, he went to the press conference, but he got the fuck out the ring. Now, you know that if he would have won, you know he wouldn't have stepped out of that ring like that. Where's my snare? There's no snare in my headphone. AJ hates getting hit, so he won't just all-out attack. Yeah, I believe that. AJ is a better boxer than Wilder, but Wilder is way tougher. Well, don't know. I mean, it's hard to tell. They ain't been in there with the same fighters for us to know that either. Do you think Fury will retire and get depressed? He might. Dr. Cole, that shit don't look. It wouldn't surprise me if he did. If you see, he's already look. He bought a house in Vegas. Bad fucking move. Bad move. You'll see big ass Tyson Fury fucking rolling dice and shit in Vegas, putting $10,000 hands and shit. Can Plant pull off an upset? Fernando Castro. Yeah, he can, and I'm going to tell you why. Canelo Alvarez he's putting too much pressure on himself, saying that I'm going to knock him out in 3 rounds and all this shit. You better be careful doing that against a boxer like Caleb Plant. Because Caleb Plant ain't in there to try to knock you out. He's going to box you round after round. AJ is not better than Wilder. Well, what you ask yourself, John, is better at what? Better at taking punches, better at combinations, better at footwork, better at defense, better at what? What are you saying? He's not better overall? He's just not better? I mean, Wilder is a guy that took a lot of punches from Fury and showed he had no defense. Now, to call someone tougher, I don't know. Because Fury ain't ever been in there with Joshua. You know what I mean? Would Joshua curl over like that? Would Joshua take those shots that Wilder took? We will never know that. Why? Because they never fought. Okay? Has Deontay Wilder been in there with Klitschko? When Klitschko caught Wilder, would Wilder fall like Joshua did? We don't know. There's too many fights that we don't have a common opponent for to even make a honest, truthful comparison. And that's a fact, especially when these top fighters. See, Wilder got left out. He got left out of the Klitschko thing. The Klitschko opportunity. Kurt, what adjustments do you think Joshua will make for the rematch? Throwing more punches, initiating the right hand more, throwing it more to the chest and to the body, following up with his left hook to the body, especially when Usyk decides to go to his right. You know what I mean? That left hook or that left uppercut should be the key go-to punch, especially if he's moving to that side. But Usyk can move side to side like it ain't shit. So it's gonna be tough for him. My thing is what Usyk's gonna do new, because he's already showed what he can do in and out boxing Joshua, and Joshua tried to go in and match this motherfucker boxing IQ to boxing IQ. No. Both Klitschko brothers loses to Lennox Lewis in their prime. I think Lennox would have took Vlad, but here's the thing. Vlad wouldn't have engaged Lennox like that. Vlad would have been waiting for counters. Vitali will attack you at will. That's why that fight was so dynamic. Between AJ and Usyk, I got Usyk again. But Joshua, I'm looking for Joshua to do something to impress me. But pragmatically, no, I think Usyk gets Joshua because Joshua is at a point now, he didn't get hurt to a point where he never recovered. No, he got hit with something he didn't like, and that made him super cautious, and he was like that all night. Bars. Better at being better. I think Fury retires in 1 to 2 years. He has one goal, and if Bob doesn't let him unify, he'll retire. I don't think Tyson Fury gives a shit about unifying now. I really don't. Plenty is a good boxer, but he doesn't use his legs that much. So Canelo would eventually walk him down. Canelo struggles with boxers' move. He's gonna do that anyway. And then what he does is he blames it on them running, because they won't let him set to throw counter punches or to show how good he is defensively standing still. If you notice something about Canelo is a guy that he can catch you, but it's only with feints. He likes to feint and give you throwaway punches. And he'll feint to the body and come right upstairs. But if you move inside the side, it's hard to set those type of shots up. And it's hard for those shots to look good. Not saying he couldn't catch you, but he doesn't like to chase you down to do it. Fernando Crawford. Everyone gets caught with shots in the heavyweight boxing. Who do you think Joe Joyce should fight next? He should fight Luis Ortiz. He should really fight Luis Ortiz, because Ortiz is old, man. He fought one time this year, and that's Alexander Flores. He's supposed to fight Andy Ruiz. He didn't. Andy Ruiz didn't fight him. He didn't get that fight. And it's sad, though, because, again, like we talked about earlier, Luis Ortiz is a guy, and then they're half scared of Ortiz, too. Understand this, people. You talk about all the old man jokes, but people are constantly avoiding that guy, because if you get in the ring with him, it's just too late. He gets to beating the piss out of you. Andy Ruiz don't have one knockout power. Kurt, who are the up-and-coming boxers of this era do you want to see becoming world champions in the future? Jared Anderson. Joe Joyce, Daniel Dubois. See, it sometimes, you got a guy that pissed over most of his heavyweight the last few years, and that's Jarrell Miller. You know, like guys like Michael Hunter, they're not going to get an opportunity just making bad business decisions. Kurt, does a mandatory fighter gets a rematch in case of a draw? It's a good question, Brandon, but I don't think so. But I don't know. That's a very good question. Yo, Kurt, what was up? The only fight I want to see is Fury versus Joshua. I think AJ beats him. I'm not challenging my mind because Fury beats Wilder. Seriously, Wilder and Fury haven't really fought anyone. They haven't fought anyone, period, for 3 fucking years. They haven't learned anything that can condition them and prepare them for any other fighter out there. Now here's the thing: Fury's next fight, he gets beat. Watch this. You've heard me say it. His next fight, if it ain't some fucking person like a Get Caballero, if it's someone like Dillian White might beat him. And guess what would that do for Dillian White? Put him on fucking top. But will he fight Dillian White by the way he talking? Hell to the no. And then here's the problem. Will Mauricio Suleiman do what he's supposed to do? Will he strip Tyson Fury from that belt? No. There's too much money behind it. Because Mauricio's thinking, what's going to happen with Joshua Usyk? I want to see first before making decision to decide. Kurt, how did you score Usyk and AJ? 8 rounds to 4 in favor of Usyk. Or really 9-3. I ain't seen no one test Big Baby's chin proper yet. He ain't fought in 3 years. Motherfucker ain't fought in 3 years. So I mean, what do you expect after that? Fury can lose to anyone. People think beating one guy makes him an all-time great. Andrew Smith, I've been telling people that does not make you the best fighter. Tyson impression. Yeah, I can do a Tyson impression. John Nada. Tyson Fury totally timed from hitting the canvas till the restating. Wilder total time from hitting the canvas. Fight resistant. Well, I mean, look. That just shows you about counting. Certain things have to transpire with counting, and it's just a count. It's not seconds. Matter of fact, people should stop talking about seconds when you're talking about counting because that's a bad barometer. The count should be based on the count or the speed of the count. The only thing that you could argue if it was the case in that situation, if referee Mora counted faster for Wilder than he did for Fury. And if you guys see my video, that ain't the truth because he was counting the same speed. The video shows you that. Kurt, does AJ win the rematch? Plus, do you think repeat or revenge? Repeat. Miller got a big mouth just like White. They should fight each other. I would like to see that. Big Baby Miller versus Dillian White. That would be a good fight. Bars. Why does everyone give Dillian White so much credit and he hasn't done anything to beat Alexander Povetkin and Tyson Fury? Well, here's the thing. Let's break down Dillian White for a minute. You got a point. Dillian White should not get full credit for knocking out Povetkin. Why? Povetkin was an older, recovering COVID victim. That motherfucker wasn't the same. That's why you think he retired. He should have retired before then. You know what? Alexander Povetkin should have retired. He should have knocked out Dillian White and then retired. Gave everybody a big fuck you. You're gonna retire? Duh. And carried his ass home. Get used to seeing Usyk beating people. Jimmy Boo. Counterpunch to you. Bars, because that's so true. Bars. Hey, Kurt, what do you make of Jared Anderson, future champ? Yeah, he could do it. I think they shouldn't rush him though because Jared Anderson's good, but if someone like Usyk would beat him. I mean, he's good, but like he's not ready for someone like that. And hopefully Usyk is old enough by that time, if he's still fighting, that he can get him out of there. Father Time beats all these fighters. Perfect punch though. Povetkin was getting well beat. Yeah, he was getting well beat, sure. But that didn't mean he wasn't one punch away from knocking Dillian White out. That's just his ass. Fury had COVID, but look, Fury's fucking okay. Fury obviously did not have COVID like Alexander Povetkin did. Look how it set him back. Think about it. That shit affects people differently. Then you got to put in another factor that a person is 10 years older than Fury. He has him at least 8 or 9 years, at least 7 or 8. That's 10 years. People gave Fury too much credit for beating Wilder like he was this unstoppable boxer. I think AJ would beat him. AJ fought nearly everyone. Nefemi, Fadugba, counterpunch to you. Appreciate the love with the super chat. Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. This is a question you ask yourself. If AJ beats Fury, would they give AJ the same type of energy or the same type of credit? They would be more amazed than anything. Oh my God, what just happened? Well, you got a guy that's accustomed to fighting a lot of difficult tasks and difficult opposition compared to a guy that fought Klitschko in 2015 and fought Wilder 18, 20, and 21. So basically, he came in fighting one of his toughest or biggest challenges, a guy with limited experience, a limited fighter. Then you went in there and fought a guy like Anthony Joshua and get beat up. I can see that. But see, boxing is weird. Joshua then will fight Wilder and get his fucking wig split. So who knows? Wilder is a nobody. Boxing logic. No, Wilder is someone. Wesley Gamble. Appreciate that super chat sticker. Counterpunch to you. John Forbes. What are you talking about? Wilder ducked AJ. Well, Team Wilder did. Wilder just followed his team. Loyalty. Loyal. Law. Nobody so much as mentions Parker Chisora rematch. Nah, I don't care to watch that shit. I'm like this. If you robbed a guy, why would that guy want to fight you again? If someone robbed me, I don't want a rematch. Fuck that. Fuck you. You know? Yeah, boxing is weird like that. You know what I mean? And you'll beat the shit out of Fury, and obviously he'll beat Wilder. And Wilder catches his ass with a right hand, and out he goes. You know? That's what makes it so enticing. Right? James West coming in with that super sticker. Appreciate the love, bro. I would not want to fight Wilder. Me neither. I mean, I would hate to get hit with a big ass shot all at once. You know, with a two-piece, like, let me bow, bow. Damn, that kind of hurt. One big ass shot, like, yo. You know? I would like to fight AJ than Wilder. Because Wilder's going to lean in every punch. It's like, oh shit, he's coming with it, you know? Kurt, why do you think Usyk versus AJ will be a repeat? Because Usyk knows how to beat him like he always had. Usyk's ready for anything that Anthony Joshua can do. See, he even anticipated it being a harder fight. You heard him. I thought it would be harder. I am feed. I am very feed. I only hope I fought Wilder that I would hold a better account than Charlie Z. Yeah, well, Charlie Z's an idiot. He tried to go head up with a guy and come right into the distance of Wilder swinging ass punches. But you know, Charlie Z's a retard too. You have to understand, the guy's not all there. He has some type of mental problems. He ain't wrapped too tight. Just come at you swinging. Fucking idiot. Charlie Z would be good for somebody in a street fight, though, in a bar. But then don't let the guy fight back, because if you fight Charlie Z back, he's gonna run off. He's weird like that. He's dangerous if he's fighting you, but like, try coming at him. He's gonna fucking run off. The half a super chat on your boy. Dropping that. Duh. That dude's a trip. Maybe Charles, I don't know. Usyk is the real life Joker, yeah. But is Anthony Joshua Batman? If AJ and Wilder fought, I see that one going either way in a sense. You know, look, here's the thing. If Anthony Joshua and Wilder fought, this is the best thing you want from a fight like that. You want that fight, because I don't see that fight going a long distance unless it takes AJ a hell of a long time to beat him up, or Wilder ain't dropped that big ass Scud missile. It ain't gonna last. Somebody's ass is going to sleep. That may be a real life Hagler Hearns. AJ and Wilder may be a real life heavyweight version of Hagler Hearns. Yeah, Charlie Z is dangerous. That motherfucker gets to swinging at you and hit you about, because he's gonna throw about 10 good times with each hand. Left hook, right hook, left hook, right hook, left hook, right hook, left hook, right hook. And by that time, he'll been nailed you and hurt you with something. Boxing Redemption coming in with that half a dub. Love this channel, Kurt. If you got time, there is ultra slow-mo of Wilder KO vid on my channel. I'm working on a Parker interview and David Tua. Man, I love David Tua, man. Send Tua my way, bro, when you're finished. Keep up the good work. Respect. Greetings from New Zealand. Counterpunch to you, man. Thank you for the love. Man, I was a huge David Tua fan. Boxing Redemption. Let me tell you something. I remember when David Tua was going to fight Lennox Lewis. My child's mom, my ex, she's from Guam. So everybody was like island, like pro Tua. Because Tua, the Tua man, you know, the Tuminator. How do you call it? What else was it? The throwing Samoan. Dude, I was a Tua fan. I used to remember you remember like they had a song. Tua, Tua, he's the Tua man. Yeah, man, I love David Tua, man. Appreciate the love. You know, like, I love Tua, man. Tua with that fucking cannon, that left hook. Yeah, man, he broke my heart, man, when fucking Lennox Lewis just boxed him. Oh, throw that left hook. And each time he threw that left hook, here fucking Lennox Lewis. Boop! You know, so, yo, that shit hurt me. I remember that night after that fight was over. I'm like, Tua, hit him with that fucking left hook. Hit him! You know, I was drunk. I even like, you know, I had this because I have curly hair, so I had the fucking hair up and shit like Tua and shit. I was like, oh god, it was a trip, dude. Tua the Terminator, man, yeah. But Tua's another guy though. I don't think he was nice. I think he wasn't mean enough. You know, when I hit somebody and I connect, I smell blood. I smell fear. Maratalua. You know, Tua did it. Yeah, Tua did good rounds in 3.5 and 4. Look, Tua will knock you the fuck out, though. He is a guy that you don't want to mess with. He's ruined a lot of people. Cheers, good times, good Kurt, good. Yeah, boxing redemption. It was good times, man. I mean, he would take people out. Donnell Nicholson. I remember he had that fight with Chris Bird. That broke me down because I'm like, damn, he lost to Chris Bird too. And I'm thinking, damn, you should have knocked Chris Bird out. He had one of the best fights ever in the '90s with Ika Barabucci. Yo, dude, love to him. He look, David Izon, Oleg Moskayev. He knocked those guys out. But he was another guy that got saved a lot from his power. Look what he did to John the Quiet Man Ruiz. He knocked him out, I believe, in 19 seconds. Yeah, Ika Barabucci fought Lennox Lewis. Man, that would have been a great fight. Chris Bird is the word. Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. But I don't know, man. It's Tua, man. He's very dangerous. And then, like, he never been down except for the third fight of Hasim Rahman. You remember at the very end, the 12th round, like, he get caught with something. I know it was a lot off balance, but he fell. David Tua, not David Izon. What are you talking about? David Tua knocked out David Izon. It stands for Izangrate. He knocked out David Izangrate in the 11th round. He knocked out Oleg Moskayev in, I forget what round. But those were his late stoppages. He knocked out the big old Frezzo Kendo. Okay, and that was an undefeated fighter. He knocked out fucking Michael Moore in like 48 seconds. And Michael Moore was on a comeback. Poor bastard. They shouldn't have put him in there with David Tua. And then David Tua was so fucking strong that he didn't even know that he had a right hand that was worth mentioning. He started throwing. I think he went to Goosen, and Goosen started throwing. He started learning how to knock people out with a right hand. Nah, I wouldn't blame Walker. Nah. He that was another fighter. Yeah, David Azan. Well, I think he was from Nigeria. I want to say big Nigerian fighter, very tough. Tell John Ruiz that Tua was too nice. I know, Vlad. Shit, he wasn't too nice with him. The David Tua with no hair was this fucking beast. Mike Tyson built, short, stocky. I remember I used to always pick him on playing it was Knockout Kings, the original, and it came out in '98. I used to play that junk on PlayStation, man. It was so cool. And David Tua could hit you. He had a left hook, and if he caught you with that left hook, he could put you out. But he wasn't the hardest hitter on the game. Ernie Shavers was. Ernie Shavers could hit you with the right hand, and you'll knock you out. McCall had a crazy jaw because he was nuts. That Moore knockout was vicious. That delayed reaction. Yeah, he hit him, man. Yeah, it was over. It was crazy. Yeah, knockout kings. Yeah, man. Yes, man. Have crazy genetics. You can say that again. Zorb. You guys ever seen Once Were Warriors? That movie. You guys got to check that out. Badass movie, and just about a New Zealand family. Awesome movie. When Tua fought Ruiz, he weighed 225. When he fought Lennox Lewis, he was 244. He should have came in lighter for Lennox. Well, here's the thing. David Tua's diet was terrible. He admitted it. I mean, look, island life is exactly that. It's laid back. You eat what you want. You're free. You're on an island. You have a lot of tradition. There's tradition of eating, fiestas and shit like that. Like, if you know anything about like island food, like Kelaguen and Finney Denny, Doble, like these things, man, Stu Fowl, and stuff like that. You have like macaroni dishes made out with mayonnaise. What the fuck? Why not? No, Frank, no, it was on PlayStation. Knockout Kings was on PlayStation. Then you had Knockout Kings 2000. And then by 2001, I think 2001 was on PlayStation 2. Then to Knockout Kings 2002. And that was more of an animated kind of. I didn't really care for that. It was all right. It had better graphics, but it had its quirks. Then after that, I think you had Fight Night coming at the beginning of 2004. Hey Kurt, I've been woken up. It's 7 a.m. time. You are truly a global mate. Yeah, man, it's just chilling. What time is it here? It's 1:13 here, so it ain't too late. Yeah, man, Once Were Warriors, bro. That was an awesome. And then the sequel was What Becomes of a Broken Heart. Shit was off the chain, man. You know, fantasy fight. What would your matchup be? Let me. I want to see. I would love to see Julio Cesar Chavez versus Roberto Duran. Kurt, damn, I would never thought you saw that movie. Yeah, Jake Demas. You fucking coward, Jake! You're a fucking coward! Don't fucking blame me, woman! Jake was fucking terrible, dude. Jake was a terrible guy. I love it when he was seen. Rodman brought Lennox up for off his feet of the hardest knockouts I ever saw. Yeah, Rockman knocked his ass out. I love that shit too. I was so happy. I was so happy for fucking Hasim Rockman, man. That shit was funny. Man, you talking like you gay. I'm not gay. I'm not gay. Bring your sister over, your mother. I'll show you if I'm gay. Hey man, don't talk about my mom. Hey, don't talk about my mom. Hey, leave my mom out and say, don't talk about me if I want. I'll talk about it if you want. They all got on the floor and shit. Did Galata and Tua fight? No, they never fought. Mm-mm. That would have been a good fight though. I think Tua would have knocked him out though, but who knows? Because Galata was good at applying pressure. And if you can apply enough pressure to David Tua, you can keep him at bay. You can keep him back. Why do Americans hate Lennox Lewis? Because he beat our champs. He beat Mike Tyson. He beat Evander Holyfield. He never fought Bo. That's probably why to me. And then he just wasn't like an appealing heavyweight. He was kind of like, if Mike Tyson wants to test, I'll put him to rest. I mean, would you like that guy? Lennox, I'm coming for you, Lennox. You think you're an Alexander? You're no Alexander. My style is perpetuous. My defense is impregnable. I want to eat your kid. Word to Allah. So would you like that guy or, if he wants to test, I'll put him to rest. I saw your man Tua yesterday, Kurt. Really? How's he doing? It's so crazy. His child's mom or his girlfriend or whatever, her name, his girlfriend's name and my ex who had the same name. It's crazy. John Forbes, Counterpunch looks like Roy Jones. you know, Remember Roy Jones? Y'all better get it right. Y'all must have forgot. I'm from Pensacola. I whoop anybody. I fight anybody. Y'all leave me alone. My little self. I ain't scared of nobody. But don't mess with me. I'm retired. But everybody try to call me out. I will get there. I will fight. I got it in me. It ain't going nowhere. I'll fight David Toole. I'll fight Mike Tyson. I'll fight Lennox Lewis. It don't matter to me. I'll fight anybody. I'll be the baddest man on the hill. You need to whoop me, I'm going to whoop you. Todd, 864, just found your channel yesterday. Keep keeping it real. Appreciate you, brother. I shall. Absolutely. Riddick Bowe said about Galata, he was beating me, man, and then he couldn't keep his punches up. Andy C, that was some very that had to be an aggravated time for Riddick Bowe. Riddick Bowe not only was getting his ass whooped, but then he got fouled massively. Think about that. You're getting beat the fuck up. Bop, 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 boom. Oh, fuck. Yo, they fucked Galata up, though. They were kicking Galata's ass because they thought it was intentional, but Galata's just a fucking moron. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Lennox used to at Brookdale down the road from me here. Yeah, I believe you. You know, Joseph Parker has decent skill and amazing jaw. He just needs aggression. Well, he's just not that guy. He's not a David Tua. This guy like that. I mean, even though we're looking for someone, at least he became champion at some point. You can't say that about David Tua. He never became a world champion. He got a boxing gym here in New Zealand. So Tui Tui and Boxing Redemption, you guys are from New Zealand. Cool. Cool. Hey, thanks for the coverage the other night of the Tyson Fury fight. Crazy Cat 83. Hey, no problem. No problem. Big love from Ireland. Counterpunch to you. Andy Lee ain't the right trainer for Parker. Guy needs an arse kicker. Well, I mean, Parker's just going to be Parker at this point. I don't think Parker's going to reinvent himself now. I just don't. And he's young, too. Parker's not old. I just think a lot of those guys, they look at their career like a lot of actors do. A lot of actors, you have that peak point where they do the biggest show or biggest film they have ever done, and that's it. You'll see him again, but he'll never be like that. It's like Leonardo DiCaprio in Titanic. He'll never be bigger than Titanic, ever. You know what I mean? That's just how it is. Legs Lewis used to live in Beckenham. My auntie used to deal with him. Okay. Like, deal with him how, Nikki? Grandmother from Kiki. Grandfather from Tipperary. Okay. Holyfield was 100 years old. Parker, I barely knew her. Andy Lee will bring the best out of Parker. He has the best training with Fury. I think he's going to do this time. Shit, I can't say that about Efe Ajagba. Efe Ajagba got fucked up. Fabian Cameroon. What's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Andy Lee is a Crunks trainer. He is. He used to live with Emmanuel Stewart, man. They had a strong bond. Yo, you have to realize, man, trainer and fighter, I think all of them should become invested emotionally in a lot of other ways to properly train them because you have to know a person. Sal T. Sanchez, real deal. Yeah, he is. Do you think the PBC will set up a helpline for the LDBC fans? No, they don't. I don't think they could give really two shits of someone that's covering boxing or one way or one sided covering boxing. Sexually. Like Tybush sexually. Oh man, who wants Frank Sanchez or Wilder? Well, I mean that's good, because it was out a while, Lennox Lewis. I'm not gay. What does everyone call me gay? I'm not gay. That Crunk's gym style is hard to beat. Emmanuel used to train Tommy the Hitman Hearns. That was a bad mother sucker, wouldn't he? What's your opinion of Sanchez late uppercut on a jog, but you think they will run it back? Well, maybe. But then it depends on Frank's options. So if Frank gets another opportunity, why would he want to fight a Jogba again? Philip Carl Roberts, hey Kurt, hope you're well. Man, I'm doing good. What's your opinion of the sand? Okay, yeah, you're saying that. What do you mean you miss black heavyweights? Do you mean black American heavyweights? We got a couple coming up. And if you notice, there's a lot of black heavyweights around the world. Okay, I don't know. I didn't get that. What was your opinion? Okay, got that. The other race heavyweights are talented too. Yeah, anybody that steps in the ring and has the balls to throw punches, regardless of what skin color you are, even orange people and pink people. Don't forget green people. Javier, I don't think so because in America, a big athlete, black man, can play a lot of other sports. Hey, you know what? That is true. A lot of like Americans, regardless of their color, do other shit. Most guys, the heavyweights, went to playing football. You know what I mean? They don't have to box. They got drafted in the NFL. They'd be like Steeman Willie Beeman. Lennox was strapping young lad. Pip pip cheerio. Okay. Wilder beats anyone besides Fury. Okay, well, we got to see that there, Wesley. Big Boss, salute to you. Shireen Golding, good job coming in with that $4.49 quid. Thank you for the love. Appreciate you. Thank you. Travesty that Sanchez uppercut after he took a knee it was legal. Frank, like I'll say like Roy Jones. See, they'd have been me, they'd have disqualified me because I'm too good. They wanted to take that from me because they wanted to take it from Floyd. That's why they robbed us in the Olympics. That's why they tried to rob us. They threw Floyd in jail. They took my O. Everything must go when you deal with success. We black, we strong, we powerful, we outspoken. They don't want to see us strive. That's what they do. HBO, all of them, a bunch of racist folks. That's why I told them all where they need to go. Because they all must have forgot. I ain't never losing to no pink person. Okay. Hey, Kurt, what do you think about Joseph Parker fighting Tony Yoka? Yeah. Uh, I'm not really, it doesn't really excite me any, you know? I mean, like Tony Yoka. Yeah. I want to see better matchups like Joseph Parker, maybe Ruiz too. Parker versus Ortiz would be good. Kurt, how much subs did you lose this time after AJ lost? Big Boss, believe it or not, none, as I could tell. Not none that I can, point out, but I really don't. I don't think I lost any, and if I did, I didn't notice. It ain't nothing that ain't like last time. Like what the hell? These motherfuckers dropped off the face of the planet. Great thing, but about Fury, he shuts down the race talk instantly. That's good. Shut that shit down. You got guys like Larry Merchant. I'm just enjoying this. Like, damn, okay. Yeah, way to go for America, huh? Don't give a shit about that. Skin color supersedes your nationality. Wow, great. I thought you were a fucking patriot. You're like 85. Well, that may be the problem. Ortiz not even top 10 anymore. Trust me, about 15 heavyweights beat Ortiz. I don't know. It depends on who they are. My top fight, Ortiz, Dillian White. Let's have it. Oh, if you lose subs, it's their loss. Hey, that doesn't mean they're not going to watch you again. That just means that they don't want to hear every video that you have. I mean, you look if you do a video, if I do a video and it's over 60,000 views, okay, well that's over my sub base. So in other words, you do one for 100,000 views or 70,000. Okay, all those people are not subscribed unless they're people that subscribe that watch it again and again, which are unique subscribers or whatnot, which is awesome. Good to hear, as I thought boxing as a whole might take another hit. Well, I think it helped boxing because people love that fight. People, that gives people inspiration. And then really, it's gonna really put a notion for a fourth fight. Ortiz ducks inequality heavyweights. John Manziel. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Parker's always on the back foot. I think that's where his power is diminishing. Because he's fast. He doesn't throw hard shots going backwards, but he can still fight going backwards. It's just less effective. I hear Ortiz was David's sparring partner before the biblical Goliath fight. I don't even think it was that close boxing. I thought Ruiz dominated. Kevin Lopez. Hey, Kurt, counterpunch to you, my brother. Counterpunch to you, Kevin Lopez, in the building. Ortiz ducked AJ, Dillian, Joe, and Wileen. No, Joe Joyce ducked Luis Ortiz. And if you're talking about this year, Luis Ortiz called Joe Joyce out after he. But nobody gives a shit about that. Kurt, you favor Dak a little bit. Met him in Mississippi. Great guy. Met his brother at the gym, back home. I never met him, though. But no, I don't. I'm not really a football fan anymore. I haven't been a football fan since Barry Sanders played, bro. Facts. Jasora was just swarming and going to the body. That's how you're supposed to. Are you talking about Usyk? Or are you talking about Parker? Ruiz dominated the first 4 rounds or so. Parker came up in the second half of the fight. I think Wilder versus Joshua would be an interesting matchup. It would. I want to see some trash talk. I want to see Wilder get Joshua pissed like Jarrell Miller was able to do. Because, see, if he doesn't, it wouldn't warrant Deontay Wilder talking all the shit he said about AJ. I would be like, whoa, wait a minute. You said this man was a coward. You said this man didn't have a heart of a champion. His whole career was based off lies, right? If Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua fight, I want to see one hell of a buildup. I want to see press conferences in California, New York, UK. I want to see them everywhere. Because, see, Wilder, you have to understand, Wilder said a lot of things about a lot of fighters, especially AJ. He talked AJ up to promote himself. That's why he wanted to bet on himself, because I can bet myself better off because you guys offered me $100 million based off of what I said about your champion in the UK. Can a fighter Can a fighter fight more than one in a year, Kurt? Yeah, they can. They should. They just haven't, the weird times we're in. AJ doesn't move fast enough to avoid Wilder's. Well, we got to see. I'd like to see it, though. Hey, Kurt, how dare you turn your back on football? It's the ultimate proving ground for the ultimate team. I gave all my body up and suffered massive injuries in football, and I still love it. Mr. Talk. Man, to you, let me tell you, good for you. No intentional disrespect. I just don't watch it. I don't follow the game no more. When Barry Sanders retired, it was like, fuck it. I'm out. I Shark Tanked it. I can't see Wilder getting in AJ's face like he does with Tyson. I don't know. I don't. I would love to see it though. By the way, read my post. Lighthearted. I'm barely ever serious unless it comes to my sports. So I'm taking it seriously then. Wilder has a puncher's chance against AJ. He has a puncher's chance against anyone. Fury's second knockdown was from Wilder rabbit punch. Yeah, I'm doing a breakdown tomorrow off rounds 3 and 4 of that. Just that those two rounds. So stay tuned for that. And for those reasons, I'm out. Exactly. You know, do you think that potential American heavyweight talent is possibly going to different routes, going to football? Of course. Yorkie Elliott. Of course that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. That's what they've done for the last fucking 25 years. That's where all the heavyweights, American heavyweights, are playing football. You know, all the Evander Holyfield. Just imagine Evander Holyfield was a linebacker instead of a boxer. Favre's Sweetness and Rice from Mississippi. Still love him. Brett Favre. Jerry Rice. Legends. I love all sports, and it's in my blood. Nikki, counterpunch to you. Anderson and Sanchez are both skillful and fast hands. I would like to see that. You know, but those type of guys, they would probably see. You'd have to let some fights marinate. Sanchez versus Anderson, if they fought now, I don't think. I think they would be cheapening the idea of a build-up. I think they would lose money right now if they fought. Wilder got extra time to recover after the bell saved Wilder in the third. The doctor then came in the ring at the start of the fourth round, giving him more time. Okay. He still got knocked out, though, didn't he? I don't recall what time it was, but there was an uppercut that caused Wilder to fall back to the ropes and bounce back upright. Every punch thrown from both was with evil intent. Yeah, they had it out. They had it out, and Tyson Fury won. Young Hollywood, Big Kirk, counterpunch to you. Fresh out the bar, cheers to the weekend. Counterpunch to you, Young Hollywood. I don't know if there was a fourth round Jedi Gremlin. Ortiz did turn down Joe Joyce. Ortiz did turn down Joe Joyce. When, Brandon. I know Abel Sanchez turned down the idea of fighting Ortiz in 2018. Because, you know, that fight was being marketed. Kurt, I think Eddie is the realest amongst the promoters. Listening to Frank Warren interview, you'll think Fury and Wilder are the only elite fighters around. Well, I mean, because he promoted those two guys. He promotes one of them. So essentially, he's promoting both. Barrera versus Morales won. Yeah, man, that fight gives me chill bumps. Sanchez would beat Anderson. I think he's a little quicker. Anderson would have to counter him like a catch and shoot. Be a very good fight, though. Brandon, where you at? Tui, you're right. Wilder put on too much weight. Last month, Ortiz turned down their offer and told them to come fight on the Javante card. Well, here's the thing. That ain't a duck. He responded. See, who is Joe Joyce fighting? Sanchez look old. Man, I think Sanchez has a skin condition, honestly. It was nice to see Connor and Nigel Benn being interviewed together about the Fury Wilder fight. Must confess, I was a fanboy of the Dark Destroyer as a kid. That's what's up, man. Alan Skill, counterpunch to you. Shout out Jet Dramon. Love your content. Appreciate you, brother. It was walk like a duck, quacks like a duck. Okay. Guys, it has been 2 hours, but without Joe Joyce, who does Ortiz fight? Hey, that's a good question. Why don't they fight each other? See, what you're saying is, well, Ortiz told him to fight on the undercard. Okay, well, he could have fought him on the fucking undercard. It ain't this. It ain't saying one guy said this and then the other guy said that. And this is what Joe Joyce said. Joe Joyce said, I think Luis Ortiz was one of those guys. He didn't say he was. He said, I think he was one of those names that was thrown at him. I think. You have to ask Adam or Sam about that. This is what he's saying, verbatim. He said, well, do you think Ortiz is ducked? He said, I don't think he wanted that smoke. And then Ortiz responded saying, okay, you think that's the case. You never had sent me any offers. So you can't say, who's to say who's lying at that point? But what did Ortiz say? If you want to fight me, you really want to challenge, fight me on the fucking undercard. Since Joe Joyce don't have a fight or a fight set yet, join him on the undercard. Send him a contract. Let's get this ball rolling. This shit ain't nothing but a bunch of talk. That's what happened. Joyce will headline his own card. Why go to an undercard? I don't give a shit what is an undercard or a main event. It doesn't matter if a guy is giving you an opportunity to fight you or to fight him after you said he didn't want the smoke. So obviously he wants the smoke, but he wants it during his next fight. So his next fight might as well be your next fight. Okay, well, Lennox West Best. Let him fight and let's see if Joe Joyce, the Juggernaut, can smash and Juggernaut right over fucking Luis Ortiz. We'll see that shit. We'll see if they can. But see all this bullshitting around when someone responds and then you hear crickets, that's my problem. You know what I mean? Like, it's not enough fights that are really, truly happening. There's not enough battles to justify this war of heavyweights. Like, why is it just certain fighters fighting each other? Fuck all that. Let's see more fights. Yeah, ask and you shall receive. The smoke. Let's have it. Hell, it ain't like Joe Joyce ain't fought on somebody else's undercard before. It could be maybe, just maybe, well, he ain't that type of dude you want to risk fucking up your position for. You have to remember what's going on. Wesley Gamble, thanks for the content. Great guy. Appreciate you, brother. Good night. I'm right behind you. Kurt the Truth DeVille, good day and night from Scotland. Frank Ash Yale. Counterpunch to you. Thanks for the live, man. No problem. Tui. Let's get a round robin style competition going. Let's do it. I mean, these guys are, and that ain't, look, you say a guy don't want the smoke, and then he rebuttals, he counterpunches, and then what? You know what I mean? Like, Jedi Gremlin, appreciate you, man, but, we ain't seen enough of these fights. Brandon, appreciate the love. Appreciate that super stat. That super chat. Heavyweight Super 6. Good night. You may take me seriously and not understand my post, but I enjoy the show. Thank you. God bless. God bless you too. Thank you. Have a great weekend. Always great content. Enough blessings. Shireen Golden, thank you. Counterpunch to you. CP, thanks. Take care. British Columbian. Watching from China. Damn. Zorb, counterpunch to you. DJ Anton, South Wales in the house. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, Zorb. DJ Duncan. Good night, Kurt. Good night. Good job, Brandon. Manchester in the house. Thanks for the late night vibes, Kurt. Counterpunch to you, Andy C. Orchid, Wesley Gamble, Zorb, DJ Anton, everybody, Lennox West Best, everybody on the super chat. Thank you guys for coming on. Everyone has been counterpunched. Until next time, peace.